Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are. The room is warm, the panel arranged like a row of knives. A rival clears his throat and throws a taunt dressed as a question. Your numbers are interesting, your leadership evolving, your plan ambitious for someone with your background. Laughter, small and sharp, you feel the heat rise, the impulse to correct, to strike. You do not, you let the air settle. You sip water. You look at the slides. You answer with 5 clean facts and no ornament. Your face doesn't flicker. Their jokes stall then die. The room shifts toward you because you refuse to move. Your restraint is not politeness. It is a lever. The crowd doesn't measure truth first, it measures temperature. Whoever holds the temperature holds the room. This is the first lesson of power. Emotion is useful only when it obeys. If it breaks formation, it breaks you. A leader who vents becomes a prop in someone else's show. A leader who chooses the cadence, pauses, brevity, delayed reply, runs the script without ever showing the pages. You are told to be real. Understand what that usually means. Be readable. Be predictable. Be targetable. When you reveal your nerves on command, you donate the map of your buttons. The skilled opponent will push them in public, because public reactions multiply. Instead, you practice a different real disciplined presence. Let the facts speak first, the tone speak second, and your feelings, if they must speak, last and measured. In a world trained to harvest outrage, unreadability is security. Fairness is fiction. Advantage is law. Systems, markets, teams, courts of opinion reward stability over sincerity. They don't care how deeply you feel. They care whether you can deliver under pressure. The calm voice gets the extension. The steady hand keeps the budget. The team follows the pulse it can trust. Rage may be human, but reliability is bankable. You can be sincere and still lose the room. You can be restrained and win it. Think clinically. When you react for relief, you trade tomorrow for comfort now. When you respond for effect, you trade comfort now for position later. The first purchase feels good and costs quiet. The second feels cold and pays compound interest. A manager who answers a provocation with data buys credibility with the silent majority. A founder who waits 24 hours before replying to a hostile post buys time for truth to surface and noise to cool. Control beats catharsis every single time. So rewire your rules. No public anger, no instant speeches, no decisions made to satisfy the moment. Replace them with 3 habits. Hold the face, hold the tempo, hold the frame, hold the face. Keep your expression even so your words carry the meaning, not your grimace. Hold the tempo, slow the pace, so you choose the timing rather than inheriting theirs. Hold the frame, define what the conversation is about. Then refuse detours. People respect boundaries they can feel. Understand the cost of ignoring this. If you won't dull your reactions, someone will sharpen them for you. A competitor will bait you into a sloppy reveal. A partner will time bad news to your weakest hour. A crowd will whirl you into a performance that empties your authority while filling their feeds. Outrage is a leash you put on yourself and hand to the nearest opportunist. This is not a sermon about being nice. Power is not kindness, it is consequence. Calm is not meek, it is loaded. When you master your impulse, you master your image. When you master your image, you alter outcomes. You do it in meetings, on calls, in comment threads, at dinner tables. You do it until your baseline becomes signal, steady, deliberate, difficult to move. People will test you less because testing you doesn't pay. Consider this your warning label. The world is a market for attention, leverage, time. Bring discipline or be priced by those who have it. Train your pauses, trim your words, decline the bait, give nothing away for free, not your temper, not your tells, not your tempo. Let others spend heat. You will collect positions. Control the temperature, control the room. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. You are told to be yourself, to pour your heart out, to prove purity by removing armor. But politics lives under every roof. Offices, group chats, family tables. Appearances steer crowds. Secrets steer outcomes. Authenticity becomes a mirage when you sell it by the gallon to people competing with you for position. Private sincerity is a virtue. Public strategy is a shield. The mirage begins when you trade mysteries for applause. Oversharing hands rivals your playbook. You narrate insecurities to prove you're real, and suddenly others know where to press. You explain money fears and a buyer lowballs you to help. You confess burnout and a competitor times a launch the week you rest. Radical openness without leverage is not intimacy. It is inventory. Think like a chess player. State aims, lock the blueprint. Tell the truth in layers. What aligns the team, what steadies the room, what belongs only to the room of one. Private sincerity gives you a spine in the mirror. Public strategy gives you a spine in the arena. Keep a diary, not a broadcast. Share principles, not passwords. Tell the mission. Keep the hinge of your tactics hidden. Consider the founder who posts the cap table and runway for transparency. The thread gets likes. Competitors get a roadmap. Recruiters circle his engineers. Investors call with sharper terms. The team now carries a weight that should have stayed on the captain's shoulders. He mistook confession for leadership. Real authenticity is consistent behavior under pressure, not naked data in public. Now strip the varnish from affection. Affection is priced, not promised. Attention flows toward advantage, status, access, momentum. When your stock rises, so do the smiles. When momentum stalls, inboxes go quiet. This is not cruelty. It is arithmetic. People track gravity. They drift toward where decisions and introductions concentrate. You've seen it. A promotion multiplies invitations. A single viral post softens your DMs, misses a quarter, and the same people get busy. The market behind care is simple. What do you solve? Whom do you place? What signal do you send if someone is seen near you? Tie your worth to the current, and you drown when it shifts. Build a hull of standards, skills, and savings, and you ride above the tide. In romance, the same calculus hums. A partner adores your ambition until it competes with their comfort. Then support wants to be paid in sacrifice. In friendship, the loudest cheerleader may need your stage to feel close to the lights. Notice how attention spikes when you bring a new room or door. Wisdom prices affection as volatile and protects itself with stable assets. Competence, reputation, options. Unsweeten the lesson. Promises bend when incentives do. People swear forever at dawn and bargain by noon. Expectation is not a contract, it is a wish. If you need care, you become cheap. If you provide value and keep alternatives, you become expensive to disregard. Hold yourself like a scarce asset, well-maintained, hard to access, clear in terms. Scarcity is not cold, it is careful. Now to kindness. Kindness is a costume, useful, elegant, persuasive. Wear it often, but never mistake the costume for your skin. Appear kind, never depend on kindness. Depending on kindness is begging the weather to stay sunny. The strategy is building a roof. When you balance warmth with power, even those who dislike you respect your outline. They measure you before they move, because your boundaries carry consequences. Strategic warmth turns doors on quiet hinges. Greet the receptionist by name. She decides whether meetings start on time. Bring clarity in meetings. Clarity reduces cost. Practice restraint online. Restraint preserves capital. Each act of warmth is a coin in reputation's vault, not a chain around your neck. Give favors to compound influence, and stop when it no longer serves the mission. Picture a salary talk. Start with gratitude and proof, not apology. Outline results, then propose numbers based on market data and timing. Your tone is warm. Your options are real. If the offer fails the standard, choose the road that honors your work. Warmth keeps the bridge. Leverage moves your feet, or set a boundary with family. You love them, but you do not loan money without terms. You write the terms. Holidays stay joyful. Wallets stay sane. Here is the rule that frees you. Be legible in values, opaque in tactics. People should know what you do and what you never do. They should not know how you will do it next. This balance lets generosity breathe without making you a mark. It lets romance flourish without making you a servant. It lets teammates trust your direction without handing you a knife to cut your authority when storms rise. If you crave purity from the world, you will break on its mixed motives. Accept that motives mix, and you can steer them. Convert rivalries into alliances by making the alliance profitable. Turn fair-weather friends into steady supporters by building systems where your wins lift their wins. And when interests will not align, exit without theatrics. Calm is the signature of someone who knows their price and their path. Return to the beginning. Authenticity without strategy is a lantern in a hurricane. It flatters the flame and then drowns it. Loyalty, without aligned interests, is a vow waiting for a loophole. Niceness without boundaries is a sales sign hung on your spine. You are not required to become cold. You are required to become clear. Reserve the deepest truth for those who have paid with time, proof, and steadiness. Offer the world your work, not your weaknesses. Keep your inner counsel sovereign, your outer stance composed, your warmth deliberate, your exits ready. When care comes, welcome it. When it fades, proceed. The current belongs to the river. The oars belong to you. Be gracious in tone, exact in terms, and unbreakable in self. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your wounds speak in signals: approval, hunger, envy, rage, and the world grows fluent in them. When strangers can guess your next move, they don't need force, they need only patience. Power begins where predictability ends. So you take a lamp into the basement of the psyche. You are not here to become numb, or pleasant, or easy. You are here to become sovereign. Calm is not the absence of storms. It is learning the names of your winds and the angles of your sails. Today you expose the buttons, change the wiring, and close the public access panel. Trigger map. You start like a forensic analyst. Where are the buttons? Who installed them? And who profits when they're pressed? Approval hunger lights when you feel unseen. Notice the manager who praises you in private but withholds credit in public. You sprint to prove yourself, and they harvest your extra hours. Envy ignites when a peer wins what you promised yourself. Influencers sell you mirrors that slice your face. Rage flares when you sense contempt. Trolls know the tone that makes you swing. Map the trap: stimulus, story, state, act. Then circle the payoff someone else collects. Now collect evidence. Pull the last 10 scenes that shook you. What flipped the switch? Being left off a calendar invite, a backhanded compliment, the message marked seen and left to bruise. Track the body tells heat in the jaw, shoulders rising, a fog lowering behind the eyes. The body speaks before the mouth. Name the story you reach for. They don't respect me. I'm always replaced. It's happening again. Precision matters. When the script is visible, the actor can ad-lib. When the early alarm rings, you can change the ending. Test the map with controlled experiments. Ask that unnerving colleague for direct feedback and observe your pulse without defending. Turn off notifications for 24 hours. Note which apps your thumb searches for like a lost tooth. Scroll past a rival's victory post without clicking, then count the seconds until the ache softens. In the next meeting, speak last rather than first. Watch how pride handles silence. These are not moral exams, they are signal drills. You are finding the switches nearest the shadow's hand. With each test, the same insult lands like rain on armor, not a nail in open wood. Self-autopsy rituals. Build procedures that hold when moods would erase the clues. Keep a daily log with 3 columns: stimulus, story, state. Stimulus is the raw event, the curt email, the canceled plan, the partner going quiet. The story is the tale your psyche grabs first. I'm invisible, I'm behind, I'm not safe. State is the body's report: shallow breath, cold hands, iron in the throat. Write it fast, like notes from a scene. Once a week, review the log. Do 3 stories keep returning in different clothes? Do certain names always trigger the same state? The point is not blame, the point is pattern. Install delay rules. The shadow loves speed because speed keeps it unseen. You counter with time. No replies while the heart is sprinting. No decisions after midnight. A 5-minute walk before sending any message longer than 2 paragraphs. Keep a timer at your desk. When the urge rises, start the clock and breathe as if descending into a lake, slow, even, measured. Many fires starve on that oxygen. What feels like necessity becomes information. Information becomes intelligence. Your future self is writing policies for your present self to enforce. Adopt a no public anger protocol. Anger is not a sin. It is a sentinel that barks when a boundary is crossed. But public anger auctions your sovereignty for spectacle. Keep the dog on your side of the fence. If you must speak, use cool sentences, "I'll respond tomorrow." "Let's take this offline. I need clarity before I commit." In private, let the heat move, walk, shake, write, exhale, then convert residue into structure. A clearer contract, a cleaner calendar, a firmer no. You are not suppressing emotion, you are assigning it a job and a shift, not the company credit card. Seal the leaks. Leaks are where energy escapes through old cracks, oversharing instant replies, sarcasm disguised as wit, humble brags begging for applause. Replace venting with controlled disclosure. Share the rawest feelings with one or two trusted people or a therapist, not the entire feed. Replace instant replies with timed silence. Your pause teaches others that your attention has a gatekeeper. Practice graded visibility. The stranger online gets an outline, the colleague gets a summary, the inner circle gets the full report. This is not secrecy, it is stewardship. Your mystery returns to you, and with it, leverage. Make unreadability your shield in a world that monetizes your wounds. Platforms predict what keeps you scrolling: the ex's new photo, the rival's promotion, the outrage engineered to feel like fuel. If your pattern is simple, their profit is certain. Scramble the pattern, check apps at odd hours. Mute accounts that slice your worth, disable read receipts, so urgency cannot conscript you. Use scheduled send to deliver boundaries at dawn, not at midnight when you are porous. Rotate where you sit, the route you walk, the ritual you use to start. Randomness is not chaos here. It is counter-surveillance against the part of you that broadcasts your codes. Remember, this is not about becoming stone. Numbness is just another mask the shadow wears. This is about direct feeling, emotion with a steering wheel. You will still desire, grieve, celebrate, but you will not audition for strangers. You will not hand your calendar to other people's moods. You will be kind without being captured. Calm becomes the air in which your choices can breathe. Each kept delay, each private anger, each measured disclosure stitches the seam and thickens the skin, not to harden you but to hold you. Repeat the ritual until your nervous system learns a new myth about you. You are the one who waits, who watches, who edits before sending. Approval, hunger, envy, rage do not vanish. They receive names and office hours. They knock and you meet them at the door. Sometimes you let them speak. Sometimes you let them leave. Either way, they do not drive. The buttons remain, but the wiring is yours. The audience leans in, trying to read you, and finds a fog of intention where the old barcode used to shine. Power begins where predictability ends. When your map is drawn and your leaks are sealed, you stop offering strangers a manual for controlling you. They may still test, that is their story. Your story is different now. A quiet storm with a compass, a river with banks. You carry your unreadability like a cloak, not to hide, but to move freely. In that freedom, you choose with the whole of you, not the wound, not the panic, not the hunger, but the self that holds them all and answers last. I am calm, unreadable, and free. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, one must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. The breaking doesn't look heroic. It happens in fluorescent light, in a group chat, in a meeting where your mic stays muted. Your name is removed from a project you built. A performance note lands like a small knife. Not a cultural fit, needs stronger alignment. Do not beg the room for a softer verdict. Take the verdict as a map. Humiliation is not a funeral. It is a blueprint drawn in acid. A betrayal exposes the engineering of trust. You handed over access, and someone optimized for their advantage, not yours. Count the assumptions, that loyalty would be reciprocated, that results would protect you, that clarity would win over narrative. Each was a weak joint. Label it. If you were outmaneuvered, the lesson is positioning. If you were outshouted, the lesson is coalition. If you were outflanked, the lesson is timing. You are not cursed. You were outplayed. Learn the play. A demotion reveals the weight-bearing beams of your value. Strip the title, and you see whether the craft remains. Can you still produce work that moves the needle without the badge? If yes, you are portable. If not, you are dependent on costume jewelry. Public critiques, especially those that sting, show where your story outpaced your infrastructure. You promise speed without capacity, vision without proof, virtue without leverage. Replace the story with scaffolding. The point is not pity. The point is to rebuild exactly where it failed. Treat every cut like a forensic file. Who benefited and how? What incentive made your mistake rational for the other side? Which signals did you ignore because they were inconvenient to your self-image? The person who laughed at your boundary. The manager who praised you in private and left you undefended in public. The peer who asked for your deck and presented it as their own. None of this is random. It is a system of speaking. Systems can be measured. Measurements can be used. Now burn the costume. The need to be liked is a leash. It looks velvet, feels kind, and moves you where others want. You fear being disagreed with, so you sand the edge of your thought until it cannot cut through butter. You chase quick validation, the ping, the heart, the check mark, until your day becomes a casino of tiny wins. This is not a strategy. This is a slot machine. Take off the need to be instantly understood. Refuse the speed trap of explaining yourself to everyone. A plan that requires applause at every step is not a plan. It is a performance. Learn to tolerate a season of being misread. You will be called cold when you are simply clear. You will be called arrogant when you stop over-apologizing for competence. You will be called disloyal when you refuse to trade your work for their shine. Let names fall. Keep your name. Detach self-worth from the public thermostat. Your value does not swing with the temperature of a thread. Set your own climate, a room where praise is recorded, not inhaled, and criticism is analyzed, not worshipped. Build a habit of delayed validation. Create something that will be obvious in 6 months and misunderstood today. That patience is a moat. While others refresh feeds, you refine levers. Cleansing means subtraction. Fewer meetings that generate heat, more sessions that generate proof, fewer slogans about impact, more artifacts nobody can dispute, shipped features, closed deals, rescued clients, standards written and adopted, produce receipts that speak without you, become legible in results, not in pleading. Cold clarity emerges. Noise goes out, numbers enter. Count allies as assets and fantasies as liabilities. Who answers when you call? Who can open a door you cannot? Who would risk something small for you now? Not later. That is your first alliance circle. Expand it by contribution, not flattery. Trade in favors returned, not compliments stored. Identify leverage points, the meeting before the meeting, the person who drafts the brief that frames the decision. The metric leadership quietly guards because it ties to budget or risk. Place your work where those currents collect. Stop trying to win everywhere, win somewhere decisive, then widen the board. You do not need universal love. You need specific leverage applied at the hinge. Replace ego talk with operator math. Inputs you control, outputs you can defend, feedback you can route into iteration. A small, consistent edge beats a loud, sporadic sprint. Make a cadence weekly deliverables that compound, monthly reviews that adjust trajectory, quarterly moves that shift power. If it cannot be measured, let it be ritual once, not religion forever. Modern scenes clarify the posture. Your idea appears on stage under another's name. You do not explode on social feeds. You log timestamps, demonstrate authorship, and prepare so thoroughly that the next round cannot be stolen. A client threatens to walk. You do not write a paragraph of hope. You present a path with costs, timelines, and trade-offs, and you set the boundary. Scope creeps, pay tolls, and executive ghosts. Your proposal, you do not chase. You tighten the document until its return becomes inevitable. Your voice grows fewer, but heavier. You decline invitations that ask you to donate reputation without equity. You enter rooms with a question that exposes reality faster than an opinion. What would change your decision? You track the answer. You do not gossip, you gather intelligence. You move like water, patient, shaping stone. This is the birth of the calculating operator. Not cruel, not soft, precise. You keep your promises small and your delivery exact. You become hard to manipulate because your triggers are not public. Praise does not accelerate you. Mission does. Insult does not slow you. The process continues. When fortune shifts, you turn the wheel instead of cursing the wind. What collapsed was the reactive self. The one that chased every bell and performed for every crowd. What remains is a structure with teeth. Your boundaries hold, your alliances are earned. Your competence is demonstrated under imperfect conditions. You trust late and verify early. You speak last when stakes are high and first when silence would waste time. You are nobody's ornament, you are your own operator. The world will still bruise you. Let it. Each bruise is a map pin, not a shrine. You will still face traps and wolves, be both fox and lion. See the mechanism, then apply force. Act by choice, not compulsion. Feelings inform, they do not pilot. The room may not cheer. The numbers will, and the numbers will be yours. Less vanity, more leverage. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You took their leaving as a verdict on your worth. It wasn't, it was a change in price. What you called love was a contract written in invisible ink. Security, status, access, convenience, renegotiated the moment the market moved. When the incentives shifted, the story did too. Not because you are small, but because human nature is practical. The contract behind the curtain. You imagine loyalty as a sacred oath. In daylight speeches, it sounds like one. But beneath the banner, there is a ledger. Comfort here. Admiration there. Doors that open. Problems that disappear. Remove one incentive, and the creed thins. Add a shinier trade, and the creed dissolves. This is not cynicism. It is literacy. You don't have to hate the play to learn the rules. Look at a partner who adored you when you were the mysterious prize. Scarce time, rising profile, shared challenge. Then routines settled. Access grew wide. Scarcity vanished. The story cooled, not from malice but from repricing. Or consider the colleague who swore brotherhood until a promotion arrived. Suddenly their calendar hardened and their replies became formal. Did their heart rot in a week? No, their incentives rotated. Think of social media romance. As long as the photos performed, effort looked free. When engagement dipped, so did tenderness. Caption love is cheap in a bull market. It dries up when attention costs more, or the friend who never missed your midnight calls until a new circle offered better weekends. They didn't betray a religion, they followed a signal. You now see the signal too. Naivete fades, but bitterness is optional. You simply stop confusing poetry with policy. Freedom through accurate reads. Expect nothing, measure everything. Trade fantasy for data. You say your terms plainly, reciprocity, consistency, repair after conflict, then you watch behavior, not speeches. When someone promises presence, you ask for a date and a time. If they dodge, you record the dodge. When they demand access, you request an exchange. Effort for effort, clarity for clarity. No rage, no lecture, just measurement. Run small, clean experiments. Delay your reply for 3 hours. Do they escalate with panic, or do they respect the gap? Share a win that does not benefit them. Do they celebrate or pivot the spotlight back? State a boundary without apology. I won't continue this talk if the tone turns contemptuous. Do they adjust, or do they punish? You're gathering numbers. You're not playing judge. You're pricing risk. This is leverage. When your view is accurate, your choices sharpen. You stop overpaying for promises. You stop defending what the other person has already repriced. You learn the language of exits. Clean exit means no smear, no storm, no last theatrics. You close the tab, not the bank. It keeps your record clear and your time expensive. That is power that doesn't shout. Notice how the room changes when you stop begging. The flatterer loses interest. The steady person steps closer. Clarity attracts those who can pay the rate. And if the room empties, good. An empty room is cheaper than a crowded illusion. Calm as currency. Fewer asks, fewer confessions, firmer boundaries. Calm is not ice. It is discipline. You don't flood someone with paragraphs to drag them back. You speak in invoices. Short, precise, payable. What you want stated once, what you won't do once stated. Then silence carries the message the rest of the way. In practice, this looks like refusing chaos auctions. They threaten to leave if you hold your line. You let the door be a door. They ask for proof of love in grand displays. You offer steady effort instead. They bait you with public drama. You move the talk to private, or you end it. Calm doesn't perform. Calm decides. Your nervous system learns a new default. Low volatility, high clarity. Set the frame of every tie you enter. Define the game before you play it. We schedule. We repair. We don't make threats. If they accept the frame, you've bought peace. If they mock it, you've avoided a bleed. Apply this at work. When a client squeezes at the 11th hour, say happy to help at rush rates. Apply it in dating. I see you Friday, not maybe Sunday. The ones meant for you will align. The rest will select out. With calm, you stop trading confessions for closeness. Oversharing is a discount code for the wrong buyer. Keep your story measured. Mystery is not manipulation. It is bandwidth management. Give access to those who show patterns, not promises. Map your bandwidth like a budget. Who pays, who drains, who grows the pie. Spend accordingly. Now the reframe lands. It was never love that failed you. It was a mispriced trade, a contract you did not read. You mistook ambience for structure and charisma for terms. Today you read. You set terms you can enforce. You leave when the price slips below value. You remember that love is worth having to survive clear costs and clean rules. Everything else was windy. You are not cold. You are coherent. You are not harsh. You are exact. And in that exactness, your heart becomes a stable city, lawful, bright, well-defended, open to honest merchants, closed to raiders. Let others chase storms. You will build a climate. Calm first, terms second, exit clean. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You are not here to erase the shadow. You are here to employ it. Its teeth are attention. Its claws are timing. When you admit this, you stop flinching at your own power. You begin to move with a calm that is learned, not born. People feel it. They don't know why. Only that noise shrinks when you enter. Start with the strategic stoic toolkit. Speak last. Not out of fear, but design. Let the room exhale its anxieties. While others rush to be noticed, you study the currents. Who repeats facts, who frames decisions, who hides a no inside a paragraph. You note 3 lines: facts, options, risk. Then you close your notebook and deliver a short decision or a pointed question. Your voice lands like a gavel because it has been tempered by listening. Wait 24 hours. The shadow surges at night and begs for instant replies. Draft the hot message and let it cool on the counter of time. In the morning, cut the drama, keep the data, and invite a path forward. Make it a ritual. Big choices sleep once, public statements sleep twice. Schedule decisions in your calendar the way athletes schedule recovery. Because restraint is a muscle, it grows when you rest it. Never punish in public. Public humiliation produces compliance without loyalty and silence without learning. Move correction to private. Start with ground truth, then impact, then clear next steps. Praise in the town square. Prune in the workshop. When people know that your severity is contained, they walk toward you with problems early before sparks become fires. Document everything. Memory flatters ego and erases nuance. Write the decision tree, the metrics, the promises, the deadlines. Keep a log of agreements, the way a pilot keeps a flight book. Not paranoia, clarity that protects relationships. When conflict comes, documents cool the room. Facts become the floor everyone can stand on. You reduce drama by increasing shared memory. Convert these principles into habits. Build templates. A 1-page decision brief, a post-mortem checklist, a feedback script. Set recurring blocks called delay window for messages you might regret. Use slow tools on purpose. Draft in notes instead of chat. Write longhand when angry. Set send timers for evenings. Habit is the exoskeleton of virtue. It holds you upright when adrenaline asks you to fold. Now make perception your force multiplier. Power is not only what you do, it is how your doing is read. Craft signals with care. Your tone is measured, never theatrical. Your cadence is slow enough to be heard, quick enough to show life. You make precise promises, small, dated, verifiable. We will deliver a patch by 5 p.m. UTC. I will review your plan by Friday noon. Then you meet them again and again until reliability becomes your brand. In meetings, you count to 3 before answering. You invite dissent without flinching. Tell me what I'm missing. Your face remains open while your spine remains firm. On calls, you stand while others slump in chairs. Your breath stays steady. Your words carry fewer adjectives than numbers. Online, you avoid subtweets, vague complaints, performative outrage. You use punctuation like a craftsman uses nails, exactly where structure needs to hold. Reliability compounds. Teams calibrate to your clock. Vendors show up on time because lateness has consequences, but respect does too. Rivals misread your calm as passivity and burn energy shadowboxing a statue. Meanwhile, you move the board one square, then another. Perception, carefully tuned, becomes gravity. It pulls scattered effort into orbit. People begin to predict that you will not embarrass them, that your yes is a hinge and your no is a wall. That prediction is power. Precision over cruelty is your final discipline. When hardness is required, you are surgical and rare. You do not swing to vent, you cut to heal structure. A team member violates a core policy. You investigate quietly, confirm facts, and act swiftly. No speeches, no public theater. You state the boundary, the breach, the consequence. You provide the minimum story required for trust and move on. The message is clear. This house is safe because its doors actually lock. Another day, a client is abusive to your staff. You end the call, send a brief note reaffirming standards, and suspend the engagement until behavior changes. You are not bargaining with self-respect. Your firmness is not rage. It is sanitation. The culture feels it. People breathe easier because someone is protecting the air. Hard choices arrive like weather fronts. Layoffs, cancellations, broken partnerships. Pain cannot be avoided, only aimed. You aim for it. You choose transparent criteria and a humane process. You share the why without weaponizing the who. You cut once, not weekly. You keep benefits intact where you can and offer references where you cannot. Severity, delivered cleanly, prevents the long rot of indecision. Controlled severity also applies inward. You prune your own excess. The late-night scrolling that steals mornings, the caffeine that becomes costume, the meeting that exists only to soothe fear. You set a rule: no decisions after 9 p.m., no debates in the first 10 minutes of anger. No yes to requests that lack a clear owner and outcome. Each self-cut returns energy to the whole. Modern life gives you daily practice fields. In group chats, you replace instant fire with drafted clarity. In negotiations, you trade volume for questions. In family conflict, you delay judgment until sleep has washed the lens. You stop trying to win a Tuesday and start trying to win a year. By repeating this cycle, listen, delay, protect in private, record in public, you build a reputation that does two jobs: trusted because steady, feared because decisive. Integration is the promise. The shadow becomes capability. Anger transforms into boundaries. Envy points toward neglected strength. Fear turns into planning. You stop being a hostage to reflex. You become a strategist whose calm directs events, whose presence lowers the temperature while lifting the standard. This is not a costume you wear, it is a nervous system you train. In time, your life grows quieter on the surface and stronger underneath. Meetings shrink, outcomes rise. Friends call you when storms hit because you do not add thunder. Enemies learn that you will not be baited into a fight you did not choose, and you will finish the fights you do. The world keeps its noise, you keep your rhythm, and the shadow, finally respected, takes its place at your side as a disciplined ally. Steady mind, surgical hand. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. You choose peace as policy, not as a dream. You are the steady figure in a storming room, moving like a metronome that refuses to rush. Your rhythm is quiet, exact, reliable. Allies learn your pace and sink their breath to it. Rivals hit a wall because they cannot find a door in you. You are predictable in method, impenetrable in motive. That is not softness, it is strategy. When your inner order holds, order scales. Meetings land on time. Handovers are clean, the same 4 steps repeat: define, decide, deploy, review. You make serenity operational. At dawn, you clear your desk, 2 minutes to triage, 2 to schedule, 2 to refuse. You keep promises short and measurable. You remove decorative work the way a commander removes extra banners before marching. The calendar becomes a fortress. Entry requires purpose. Your voice carries one message at a time. When the wave rises, markets lurch, tempers spike, you stay on your count. A leader who keeps time keeps control. Because time is the first terrain. The person who owns the tempo owns the field. You design signals that scale order beyond your reach. A weekly memo that fits on one screen. A crisis playbook with 3 routes only. A dashboard that shows red, amber, green without poetry. People begin to predict your thinking before you arrive, and so they correct themselves. Predictability becomes a flywheel. Each right cadence makes the next right act easier. Teams stop guessing and start executing. Stakeholders stop testing limits and start respecting them. The storm still howls, but the ship answers to your clock, not the weather. Now the throne is tested. First comes provocation. A partner sends a barbed email and copies an audience. A competitor tweets your name with smoke. They want you to burn oxygen in public. You do not, you draft in private. You strip adjectives from the reply until only terms remain. You move the fight from performance to process, numbers, clauses, deadlines. You invite them to the table where ego has no seat, only evidence. By refusing their tempo, you end the spectacle. Fights die when they cannot feed on attention. Then comes flattery, the sweeter weapon. A vendor praises your unique vision and asks for lenience. A colleague showers you with compliments before proposing an exception, just this once. You thank them as you would accept a gift at a guarded gate, opened, inspected, logged. You return to policy. You praise in public and say no in writing. You know that to trade rules for affection is to purchase future chaos at a premium. Austere, yes, but it saves the city. Admiration is welcome, leverage is not. Finally, the sudden crisis. Systems fail at 2 a.m., or the budget hole appears at quarter's end. Alarms ring, rumor sprints. You reduce the scene to 3 orders: contain, communicate, correct. You assign owners and time boxes, then narrow the channel. 1 update thread, 1 voice to external eyes. You speak slower than the fear. You state what is known, what is unknown, and the next checkpoint. The team mirrors your cadence. Panic finds no purchase. When the dust settles, you publish the post-mortem in plain language with 1 corrective rule. The lesson condenses. People judge by appearance, so you craft appearance to match intention. Fortune favors the ready clock, so you master timing. Power leaks through appetites, so you master yourself. Hope is not passive light. It is the clear air around a disciplined fire. You leave every room fractionally calmer than you found it. Suppliers trust invoices. Customers trust timelines. Your own mind trusts you. This is not surrender. This is a command without noise. Master perception, master timing, master self, then outcomes align.